All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with Mike. I'm your host, Michael Beckford, and this is going to be a short episode. Shouts out to the legend, the one and only Mike Tomlin. He has, uh, as of this publication, and according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, Mike Tomlin has decided to step down from the Pittsburg Steelers after a remarkable career, by most standards. We'll get to the beatdown later, but in all due respects, much love, flowers go out to Mike Tomlin. See you guys on the other side.
This is 5 Minutes of Mike Sports with your host, Michael Beckford.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow.
All right, guys. Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburg Steelers was at Pittsburgh for 19 seasons. Started in 2007 all the way to 2025. He accumulated a season record of 193 and 114, which is, like I said, awesome. Listen, how many fans in the Los Angeles Raiders, formerly Oakland Raiders, would love to have a record like that right now? How many fans of the New York Jets would love to have a record right now? And not only that, this dude, he won one Super Bowl and had another Super Bowl appearance. So in his 19-year tenure, he had two Super Bowl appearances and winning one of those Super Bowls. And he's also a coach that is not, I repeat, that has not had a losing record. Now, they might have been at 500, aka for those who don't know what 500 mean, they might have had an 8-8 record, something like that, but he did not have a losing season in his long tenure. I believe what happened, honestly, is after this beatdown by the Houston Texans, I believe he went to management and ownership said, "Hey, Mike, we're not going to do you like Harbaugh and just fire you." Although, John Harbaugh was at Baltimore Ravens for about close 18 seasons, something like that, with the Ravens. Great coach as well, and got a lot of great accolades in that Ravens coach. Well, I think what really happened is that they said, "Hey, Mike, you've been with us for a long time." And by the way, Tomlin is only the third coach in the franchise history of the Steelers, by the way. So they'll be looking for a fourth coach, in which with most of these organizations, they've had four coaches in the last 4 years. and some of these, I'm over exaggerating, but no, really, think about the Raiders. They've gone through three coaches within the past 3 years. They really have. And we can go on a litany down of some other teams that have dealt with a similar situation. Just like it's hard to find a great franchise-changing quarterback, coaches can also say the same when it comes down to head coach. Because when it comes down to head coaches, you're not talking about just the head coach. The head coach is the figurehead of the team. He's the lifeblood of the coaches, right? And what I mean by that is this. Yeah, he's not out there coaching every position. That's not his job. His job is, though, to bring in the best talent of coaches that can then get these grown men, because that's what they are, grown men that are paid millions of dollars to actually do what they got to do on the field to be successful. Okay? Success and winning is the formula for any coach to keep their job, whether black, white, purple, or indifferent. Now, I did a previous episode last week in regards to the black coaching carousel.
This episode of 5 Minutes of Mike is brought to you by Padsplit. In a pinch and need a place to stay for cheap? Try Padsplit and get $25 credit once approved for a room near you. Locations and restrictions apply. Hit the link below and get approved for your next room. Now, do you have a vacant home that's been listed on the market forever? Make money from your home today using Padsplit. Earn passive income and make it a Padsplit home today. Link in the description below.
How black coaches are oftentimes just seen as basically placeholders for another coach that the owner really wants to hire, which is generally a white coach, and they generally give that black coach less time if he has a losing season. This is facts. Now, in Mike Tomlin's purview, he obviously never had a losing season. So guess what? He kept his job. He, you know what I'm saying? He had a great quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger, but honestly, ever since Ben, they've been on a quarterback carousel here at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the past couple years, the first round of the playoffs are done, and I predicted it. You could watch the episode I did when I mentioned about the Baltimore Ravens failed. The Baltimore Ravens is if anybody has been keeping track of my episodes this past couple months. I love the Ravens. That's my team. You know what I'm saying? That is my team. And so, anyway, but I mentioned it maybe in the rivalry sense of it all. But I said, hey, yeah, good job, Steelers. But most likely you're not going to make it past the first round. And guess what? They didn't make it past the first round. Not only that, they got beat down 30-6. So I think what happened when the case with Mike Tomlin, he probably went to management. Management came to him. He got the phone call. And it was like, hey, man, we're not gonna do this thing like we did with Tomlin. We're not gonna do you like what happens to them often a lot of NFL head coaches where they don't hear about them actually getting themselves getting fired till they look at the headline news on ESPN or hear from Adam Schefter. You know, what a way to go out, right? So I think what happened with management is say, hey, man, listen, just say, hey, I'm gonna step down. You know, I decided to part ways for a minute. I may take off. I may take off from football for about a year or so and kind of catch my breath, get my life together, and then I can kind of figure out what I'm going to do after this. By the way, there were rumors that Mike Tomlin was going to step down last year when they were one and done, but obviously that didn't happen. But I think this was the time. I think one big domino was gone, had left in the AFC North Division, which is John Harbaugh. And to me, with Tomlin not getting past this first degree of playoff measure success, which Steelers fans were getting antsy. I've been up to Pittsburgh before. Ain't hardly much to do up there, by the way. So you all you think about is football. And so these fans and baseball, they have baseball up there too. So it's a big sports city. But outside of the sports, at least, roughly 10 years ago or so that I was there, it ain't much to do there. I mean, really, it ain't much to do. It ain't like it's Miami, right? So, yeah, I mean, the fans were getting a bit antsy, and so Mike Tomlin, according to the reports, has said he's stepped down. But I think it was more of a mutual stepping down that happened than the embarrassment of saying you're fired. He was fired, And so, and that's the way to go. Honestly, you put in 19 great seasons. Were they spectacular? Of course not. But they were great seasons. You held the line, bro. You held the line. And at the end of the day, with the awful quarterback playing for the most part, you held the line and you did what you had to do to keep them in contention at the very least. Now, did anybody think that Pittsburgh was going to be a playoff contender in the past couple of years? Hell no. But at the very least, we knew that he was going to do everything he can to get the coaches around the team to saddle up these grown men to do what they can do best, to play hard-nosed football. But I also said this in an episode last week too, in regards to the Baltimore Ravens failed. I said this: Pittsburgh Steelers play their best game against the Baltimore Ravens. They do. I mean, if you look at even what happened with them when they lost against the Cleveland Browns, they did not play their best game. But when it comes down to the Baltimore Ravens, pound for pound, the Pittsburgh Steelers look like a whole new different team. And they didn't have DK Metcalf when they lost the game against the Ravens. I'm sorry, when they won the game against the Ravens. Now, they lost this game with DK Metcalf. He pretty much was a no-show for the second half of the game against the Texans. By the way, speaking of that game with the Texans, CJ Stroud, bro, CJ, I like you, dude. The Texans are another team I like. I low-key like. I like the Ravens better because I like Lamar Jackson. But I like CJ Stroud, dude. I like what he stands for. I like his philosophy, his thought process as, a Christian, praying, things like that. I love it. Now, CJ Stroud, you could have almost handed them that damn game, bro. Like, literally, if it wasn't for the Texans stellar defense. This could have been a different outcome. But also, the other thing is, when it come down to Pittsburgh Steelers, you guys, Tomlin, you guys picked 2 aging quarterbacks for your team. One was in Aaron Rodgers. The other one was in Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Russ ain't Russ. Aaron definitely wasn't Aaron during this playoff. Now, what did Aaron Rodgers have some clutch moments in this particular season? Yeah, of course he had. But he ain't the Aaron Rodgers of Green Bay. Not in his prime. No. Oh no, he wasn't. But hey, at the end of the day though, he still got them to a winning record. And so did Mike Tomlin do his thing. All I can say is, man, congratulations to Mike Tomlin, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors, whether it's in media, whether it's coaching another team. We shall see. All right, guys, if you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment, and look at the next video.
This episode of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by Michael D. Beckford's newest book, Homeboys. Everybody has a homeboy, or friends call his own. The best friend you kick it with at the family barbecue. The one you trust to bring around your lady without raising a red flag. A homeboy will play video games, smoke, and chill. A homeboy is a nigga you can ride or die, and the one you sleep with on the low. Homeboys, available in ebook and paperback or wherever books are sold.